Good morning, mathematicians. Today for Lesson 4, we are going to solve word problems involving time intervals within 1 hour by counting backward and forward using the number line and a clock. Let's take a look at our problem set. Look at number 1. It says to use a number line to answer problems 1 through 5. But since we are working within the hour, I'm actually going to teach you a different way instead of using the number line, because it kind of gets too messy when we have to write so many numbers. So let's take a look at number 1. It says that Cole starts reading at 6:23 p.m. He stops reading at 6:49 p.m. How many minutes does Cole read? So we want to figure out the time in between. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to subtract. So we have 6:49 and we can subtract 6:23. Let's start with the ones. 9 minus 3 is 6. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 6 minus 6 is 0. So that means that Cole read for a total of 26 minutes. Let's take a look at number 2. It says Natalie finishes piano practice at 2:45 after practicing for 37 minutes. What time did Natalie's practice start? So again, what we can do is we can start with the time of 2:45. We can take 2:45 and subtract 37 minutes to figure out the time that she started. So if I take a look, 5 minus 7 I cannot do. So I'm going to borrow from the tens, which means that the 4 will become a 3, and I'll bring back a 10, so now I have 15. So 15 minus 7 is equal to 8. 3 minus 3 is equal to 0, and 2 minus nothing is 2. So that means Natalie's practice started at 2:08 p.m. Let's take a look at number 3. It says Genevieve works on her scrapbook from 11:27 a.m. to 11:58 a.m. How many minutes does she work on her scrapbook? What do you think we're going to have to do with the two times? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? We're actually going to have to subtract, just like we have been doing so far. So we're going to take 11:58 and subtract 11:27. Go ahead and figure out the subtraction. Pause the video while you work and replay when you are ready. I'm going to start in the ones. 8 minus 7 is 1. 5 minus 2 is 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. And then 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means that Genevieve works on her scrapbook for a total of 31 minutes. Let's look at number 6. It says Dion walks to school. The clocks below show when he leaves his house and when he arrives at school. How many minutes does it take Dion to walk to school? So here are the two clocks. The first thing we're going to have to do is figure out what time the clocks are showing us. So pause the video while you work to figure out what time the clocks are showing us. Remember when you are ready to unpause the video. So if I take a look at the first clock, I see that the hour hand is in between the 7 and 8. It's not quite at 8 yet, so that means it is still 7 something. Then I remember that each of the increments is in 5s. So that means that the minute hand is at 37. So he leaves his house at 7:37 a.m. Next, I'm going to take a look at when he arrives at school. Again, I'm going to look at the hour hand. It's still in between 7 and 8, but not quite at 8. So that means it is 7 something. Again, I remember that each of the increments is in groups of 5. So if I go around the clock, I see that the minute hand is just past the 11, which was 55. One more would be 56. So now, what do you think I'm going to have to do with the 2 times in order to figure out how long it takes him to walk to school? Pause the video while you work to solve and replay when you are ready. So I need to take the time that he arrives at school and subtract it with the time that he leaves his house. Starting with the ones, I cannot do 6 minus 7. So I'm going to take 1 from the tens place and bring back a 10. So now I have 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. 4 minus 3 is 1. And 7 minus 7 is 0. So that means it takes Dion 19 minutes to walk to school. So I'm going to write that as a sentence. It takes Dion 19 minutes to walk to school. Let's take a look at the next slide. It says the 3rd grade chorus performs a musical for the school. The musical lasts 42 minutes. It ends at 1:59. What time did the musical start? So again, what I'm going to do is I am going to subtract 1:59 minus 42 minutes. Pause the video while you subtract and replay when you are ready. Don't forget to write your answer as a statement. So I'm going to start with the ones. 9 minus 2 is 7. 5 minus 4 is 1. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So that means that the musical started at 1:17 p.m. Your assignment is to work on problem set number 7. Check your answer with the answer keys at the front of the room. Make sure that you put your problem set in your take-home folder on the Leave at Home side. Then I would like you to grab an exit ticket. Put your name on it and complete the exit ticket. When you're finished, put it in the turn-in tray. Great job today. I'll see you again next time.